Okay, just before we start with Learning Unit 3, there's something that I just wanted to ask you guys. Just with regards to ICE Task, how is it going? ICE Task 1 is due on the 17th of August. I have made it due on a Saturday. Reason being is that in case there are a few people that do work and study part-time that will have an opportunity to do it. Anybody completed it, or how's it going so far? Okay, perfect. So the results are good so far for those that have submitted, so well done. Um, I had, as Jabulani said earlier on, he said it's quite a nice as task. It's easy. So it is just to get you guys familiar with the concepts. And also you will see that on the announcements on Learn, I have also then given you a guide as to what each ICE task is covering in terms of the learning units. Also, my lesson plan for today is for us just to go through a portion of Learning Unit 2, and then we'll do an activity together. Reason being is that Learning Unit 3 is a bit long, and I don't want it to be information overload for you guys in one session. Yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so this is Learning Unit 3, and the title is Establishing a Business and the Business Environments. Does anybody know what is a business format, or what are business formats? Anybody want to take a chance? You can go ahead, Jabulani.
I'll give it a try. I think it's like a business, like a private company, Pty Ltd, or NGO, NPO. Yeah, that's what I think it
Yes.
is.
Okay, 100% in terms. So business formats are the following. Okay, I'm sure everybody's going, oh, okay, yes, you sort of had some sort of idea. So these are business formats that are available and currently are run within South Africa, and it is your sole proprietor. We've got partnerships, close cooperation, companies, trusts, and lastly, social cooperatives. Okay. I have noted that in your textbook there is a lovely table that breaks down all the business formats, and that can be found on page 54 and 55. Before we get into business formats, let's look at the factors that influence business formats. And again, this is on page 43 of your textbook. So, factors that influence your business formats are your purpose of your business. And when we say your purpose of the business, we look at your product or service that you'll provide to the consumer and determine the level of complexity of your product or service. I think that's the most straight up way to describe that. And an example of that would be if you start a taxi business and you have one Toyota Quantum, it is likely that you will use a sole proprietor as your business format. Okay, so that's what we mean when we talk about the purpose of business. Your legal obligation is when you look at the legal requirements associated with each business format and the cost involved in establishing that specific business. Okay, I can see someone's having an issue reconnecting. Continuity. Um, so this also now determines the lifespan of your business. So for example, in the case of a sole proprietor being in the taxi business, it is directly linked to the owner's life. And should the owner pass away or become ill and can no longer work or manage the business, then the business will close. So that's what we talk about continuity. So just think of worst case scenario, death of the sole proprietor. Okay, the next one is liability and accountability. So these aspects are related to the person or people who are accountable and responsible for when something goes wrong within the business. Okay. Again, your example could be if a taxi owner or the actual taxi is involved in an accident, then just say someone's life is lost, then the sole proprietor will be taken to court by the family of the injured or the deceased. Okay, so all the examples again in your textbook are all linked to this specific example. So it's nice to see how each factor links within, for example, in this case, the taxi owner industry. Okay. Management and participation. So if you decide on a sole proprietorship or a partnership, then the business is managed by the owners of the business, and there's a close relationship between the owner and the manager. So again, if you think practically, management, the owner and the manager, that's where you'd link it together. Okay, and the factor of capital is that if you would like to start a taxi business and you need to buy a Toyota Quantum, then the sole proprietor will be responsible for the monthly payments. Does anybody want to add to that? Okay, no. So, if you think practically in terms of the capital, and now we go into the dividends and profit sharing, again, think practical. Think of exactly what that particular factor is, and if we talk about dividends and profit sharing, it is if the sole owner if you are the sole owner, all the profits are allocated to you. And if you have partners and you are in a partnership, then all profits are shared. Okay, so that one is nice. It's pretty straightforward. So remember, a sole proprietor, the profits are to you, and in a partnership, then the profits are then shared. Okay, and lastly, taxation. So the sole proprietor and partners are all taxed on their individual income. Okay, so it would work as across any business formats. The taxation would still occur. There's no way of getting around taxation. So um, remember that also business income is also added to personal tax as well, especially within the sole proprietorship. Okay, does anybody have any questions with regards to the factors influencing business formats before we proceed?
Ma'am, when you say they
Yes.
tax the personal owner and the business, so the person gets taxed twice in that
So
case.
if it was a sole proprietor, there'll be tax based on the income. So the owner of the
All right.
company is only taxed on the individual income. Because remember, when you own a business, you still have to draw a salary from that, and you have to account for that. So obviously, tax is still paid within the business, and depending on what good or services the business develops or does, the owner, the sole, if it's a sole owner, he is taxed, and then if it is a partnership, they are taxed individually as well. So, for example, let's say you're the owner, you tax based on your income, and then you've got a manager, or your partner perhaps doesn't earn as much as you, given the duties that they do within the business, then they tax, but obviously tax based on the income.
Oh, now I get it.
Okay,
Thanks.
so is yeah, okay, no problem. Anybody else? Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, so when we talk about sole proprietor, what are we talking about? So again, this can be found in your textbook. I don't know for those of you that've got your textbook with you, it can be found on page 44. So remember, a sole proprietor is the easiest business format to develop and to open. It's also very popular among small business owners. And remember, when you are a sole owner, you are responsible or assume responsibilities and you're accountable for everything. Okay, and then just also to get your mind going and thinking, a possible question that you could get would be, what is a sole proprietor, or maybe match the description with what the title is. So you could get a description of what the business formats are, and then you'll have to then go and see which one matches. So maybe 1 to 5, you need to match with 1 to 5, and they'll give you your business format. So remember, your sole proprietor is an individual. It's very popular, and the advantages of it is it's very simple to create. It's a least expensive way of beginning a business, and the owner makes the decisions. So the owner is responsible for everything. So think of, if you have to open a business, it's your business. You are the one that makes all the decisions within that specific business. There's also no legal restrictions as well. So that's a good thing for people who are wanting to start a small business, whether it's a self-run business working from home, doing nails, doing hair, or even pool services. Okay, but there are disadvantages with all our business formats, and the disadvantages of a sole proprietor is that the owner is personally liable without limitations. Um, what do we mean when we say that the owner is liable without limitations? So the owner is personally liable for all the business matters such as water, electricity bills, rentals, contracts, supplies, accounts, basically any debts that they incur. Sorry, does someone have their hand up? Yes? Sebonga Konke, you can go ahead. Someone's got their hand up, they can go ahead.
Ma'am, I think that basically means that the debts of the business can be claimed from the person, the owner of the business.
Yes, correct. So they are responsible for all the debts that incur. So remember, also, if a sole proprietor is unable to then pay off their debts, and just say the business goes into bankruptcy, then the disadvantage is that they are then liable, so they can start seizing assets. Do you want to add something to that? Okay.
I can
Yeah.
add. I think that also means that the owner of the business and the business uh, is treated as one entity. If
Yes.
I put it that right.
Yes. 100% correct. So that's why we say without limitation in terms of the liability of the owner. So that's why it is a disadvantage. Thank you for that contribution. Can anybody else think of anything that would be a disadvantage for a sole proprietor? Please go ahead.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Mamish, I'm sorry. I had a problem with unmuting my mic. I
Okay,
wanted to
no
say
problem.
so on this business format, according to my understanding and my knowledge, so the disadvantage would be since the business is only dependent on its owner. So if the owner dies or gets sick, he his or her business will die with him. If in this case it dies, the business will die with him because there's no continuity on this business
Yes.
format.
Yes. So what we'll do as we go ahead, we will touch on trusts and how that works and is incorporated within the business formats. Yeah, 100% correct. Also, something to add is that it's recommended that sole proprietors should keep their business and personal records separate, even though all assets and profits go to the business owner. It's very much important for them to separate what's theirs and what's within the business. Remember, yes, you make a profit, yes, you get an income, but that's the business's money, and it's nice, and it's very important to separate that as well. So also it's also good to have somebody to do the books. That can also help, because there's lots of implications that can happen if a sole proprietor doesn't manage their finances properly as well, in terms of drawing of the income and doing their own thing. Okay, so having financial records for the business and personal matters will assist the owner in expanding as well the business when using profits that have been obtained through the business. Okay, so that's why it's very important for them to record everything. This Jabulani, do you have your hand up?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to find out when you said the sole proprietor doesn't have no restrictions, like what do you mean by that? Because I couldn't find it on the textbook.
Okay, no problem. What do you think? What's your understanding of that?
When you say the sole proprietor doesn't have restrictions,
Restrictions, yes.
meaning like they can get away with tax, maybe, I don't know, in terms of a
No, they
taxi
can't get away
owner.
with tax.
Some taxi owners, as you were putting example about a taxi owner, I'll add on that. Some
Yes,
taxi owners
yes.
don't pay tax. They deal with like
Mm,
cold cash.
mm.
So,
Yes, 100%.
so
Does
yeah.
anybody want to add to that as to why I think that they, or what's the purpose, or what would fall under them having no limitations?
Ma'am,
Yes. Hello.
it means they have unlimited liability.
Yes. In what way?
So basically, what unlimited liability means that if I take a loan out on the business, not the business, me as a person is responsible for paying it back. So
Yes.
whatever affects the business is going to affect me.
Yes. 100% correct. So basically, they're liable for the debts and also tax compliance in that specific case as well, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay, perfect. So remember when we said in our previous lectures when we spoke about entrepreneurship and the fact that they know that they're going to bear financial loss, this is the same. When it's a sole proprietor, they are going to bear the financial loss, and they're responsible for everything. Um, Responsible, reliable, without limitations. So it can be across the board. It can be via tax. It can be via as I didn't see who contributed that last comment. Thank you for that. As mentioned in terms of loan repayments and stuff like that. So that's why yes, it's easy and it's simple to establish, but also the owner bears a lot of disadvantages on them should the business fail, basically. Okay. Okay, and a partnership. So, what is a partnership? A partnership is a contractual relationship between two or more people who operate within a business. Okay, and it's also very simple and easy. It's a simple and easy business format. It's also popular, again, among small business owners. The advantages of that, again, it's that it's easy to put together. It does also require a lot of skills and abilities of the partnership, so there is a lot of leeway there in terms of diversification. Um, there's also minimum legal formalities and regulations. However, there are disadvantages, as I said, with all business formats, and the disadvantages with partnerships are personal liability of partners. Okay, lack of continuity again when we talk about debts incurred. Can anybody add to that? Remember, the partnership must be registered with the Companies and Intellectual Property Commission as well. So it is again registered as what a sole proprietor would register at in terms of the Companies Act. Key characteristics of a partnership is that each partner contributes something to the partnership, whether it's their knowledge, it could be capital, it could be equipment as well, assets, and ideas. Can somebody give me an example of a partnership? Okay, so the one that I can think of. Okay, William, you can go ahead.
Ma'am, the first one that comes to mind is usually lawyers, like a lawyer firm is partner.
Yes. Oh, well done. You also, Shanice also got the same suggestion and example. That's correct. One thing I can think of for Apple users is the fact that now you can have you noticed that Apple and MasterCard have partnered, so you can pay via your Apple Pay, which is also a lot safer, and you have less risk of fraud on your account. So for those that do have Apple iPhones, then that is an example of the partnership, as well as what Shanice and William have said. Yes, accounting firms, medical practices, correct. Okay. Okay. A close, sorry, this,
Hi, ma'am.
hello.
I wanted to find out something. If a company has, or rather, someone in that company has shares, what is that? Is that a partnership? Would that be considered a partnership?
So when you talk about, so remember shares, okay, we're actually going to come through to that business format now when we talk about
Okay,
shares. Um, so yeah, let's get into that. I'll answer your question now as we go through.
okay.
Can you still register as a CC? We're going to go through that one now as well. Okay, so a close corporation is when you have more than one members. Remember, they no longer exist in South Africa. So as of May 2011, they no longer offer close CCs. If we let's just say CCs for short, they no longer offer CCs, and that's because of the change in the Companies Act. Okay, so I think so. As far as what we know so far with the research is that companies that already are in CCs are already exist. They're just not offering a CC to new business development and owners. Okay. The advantages are its separate legal personality. So, for example, now, if there's more than one member in the CC and they incur debt, then they do not go and start seizing assets of the members. Also, now there's limited liability of the members, exactly what I've said before. Um, and the management is relatively simple. Okay. So before people, there were lots of CCs and then they changed it to CC. What can I say for this? So basically, it was something that was very common, and I'm assuming that because it was common, and again, it's because of the advantages, it almost protects the members, and because of this, they've then done away with that. That's my understanding and what my view is of having done this module before, and also reading up on that. Um, so yeah, the ones that exist already can continue with trade. However, they're not allowing new CCs to open. Is it because of taxes? Probably yes. As I said, because it's there's separate legal personality and there's limited liability of the members, there's not much they can do in terms of getting that debt back that's been generated by the CC. Which also then makes sense for them to now stop allowing people to register their companies as CCs. Okay. A disadvantage would be that is limited to 10 members only. Can anybody else think of an advantage that might not be listed here?
One advantage, ma'am, is tax benefits.
Disadvantage.
Or limited access to capital.
Okay. How so?
For instance, ma'am, since there's 10 individuals under one company, it's not easy to go and acquire for a loan since all parties have to agree on one thing, because you
Mm,
cannot take decisions on your own. You need to
yes.
consult with the other 9 parties. So if one does not agrees, then the company will suffer.
Okay, correct. So also in terms of liability and what you've said, remember CCs are not personally liable for the debt. So as much as it is also hard for them because they'd all need to be on the same page in terms of if they wanted to then go and apply for a loan. But also in that same way, then they're also not personally liable for the debt of the business. I saw somebody else's hand up. Okay, so also remember in terms of tax, the entity is taxed as a separate entity, which again comes back to what I think Jabulani said, which also bears the risk of the owner being double taxed. That's a disadvantage. Does somebody want to say something? I saw a hand up. Okay, no. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask?
Yes.
Can you have a CC under a trust? Is it possible?
So remember with the trust, we will cover a trust or come to a trust soon. We almost done with this section. We'll talk about a trust and what is the purpose of a trust, and then you'll see how it links within the business format.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Another business format is companies. So remember, these can be your state-owned companies, personal liability companies, private and public. So companies in general. An advantage with that is that there's no restrictions on the number of shareholders, which I think someone spoke about shareholders earlier on. There's no restriction for the number of shareholders. So remember, if you have a company, that's where your shareholders will come in. So for example, some companies are listed on the JSE and some companies allowed normal consumers like us, public, to have an opportunity to purchase these shares. I can't remember who asked if you want to add in her question about the shares. If you want to add.
Hi, ma'am. Yes, that was me. I wanted to find out where where does that fall under? If a company just has, or a certain individual has shares within a company, what I don't know how to put the question out. Would that be a sole proprietorship or partnership or an
It'll be in the
ownership?
companies.
Oh,
So
okay.
remember, a
Okay.
company is when we talk about sole proprietor, it's a small business. When we talk about a partnership, they are okay, not even partnership, but let's just go back to sole proprietors. They are small businesses. Now when we're talking about companies, we're talking on a larger scale. This is now where you find people have an opportunity to then buy in shares within that company. So the shares wouldn't necessarily apply to a sole proprietor. It'll apply to this section of business formats because it'll be a huge company that's listed, that shares are available. Sometimes not all companies allow people to then buy in shares. But in terms of your shares, just remember, if you ask the question on shares, you'll refer to as companies. There can be, so you won't be able to buy shares. Excuse me, that's a state-owned company
Oh,
because
I
the state
see.
doesn't offer shares. It's like a government. You can't go buy shares into Home Affairs, for example, but you
Right.
could buy shares into a public company or a private company. Um,
Mm.
so back in the day, some private companies used to offer shares for people in their company to, in terms of their years of service. So if you were in a company for maybe 20 years or a period in time, depends on where the company was projecting, they would allow their staff members to buy shares, or they would be given shares as a reward. That could be as part of their long service package. Most companies that are public are allowing consumers to then buy shares. Can anybody think of a company that we are able to buy shares at?
AWS,
Hi,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, hello.
It's Mr. Price. It's Mr. Price.
Okay, okay,
They when they register you, they give you shares, and
okay,
you can buy shares for yourself too.
okay, perfect. Anybody else?
Yeah, it's mostly in retail companies that offers you to buy shares depending on your service.
Correct. Yes, correct. So as just to touch base on what was said earlier with Mr. Price Group, it's a public company that's listed on JSE. So the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, so they do allow. So you'll find that companies that are listed on the JSE will then give consumers, us, an opportunity to purchase shares within that business. Discovery, yes. Okay, thanks for the participation. This is lovely. Okay, so a disadvantage with companies would be it's expensive to run, and that's why it's not for the small business owners. It's more companies on the larger scale, and the examples that you're giving are exactly the correct examples, and you can see why it is an expensive operational cost or does bear expensive operational costs. Okay. Okay, again, we've got a few more points in terms of companies, which I think is fine. We've covered. Okay, so a business trust. When we speak of a trust, what are we speaking of? Does anybody know when we talk about a trust? So yes, we understand that some people may have trusts within their family, or have heard of the word trust. Would anybody like to take a go? Yes, Jabulani?
I'll just give it a try. Trust me, to my understanding, is like trust funds, to in order to offshore accounts like that type of thing. I'm
Okay.
not sure if it's money
So
that you
so when
can't
we
access at.
okay.
Can I carry on?
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
It's money like you can't access like anytime. You need to like I don't know how to put it, but like yeah, you can't access the money like anytime you want to access the money. It's like offshore accounts and all that. I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, that's a form of a trust that could be, yes. So when we talk about a business trust within South Africa, an investment to protect your assets. Okay. So when we talk about it within South Africa, basically what it is, it's a legal entity that owns a business. So the business trust can also then be for a single beneficiary or multiple beneficiaries. Okay, and again, the trust does offer different types of legal protection. In terms of what is offered to individuals. So it's regarded, so in terms of a trust, there's a separate taxpayer that's involved. So the tax on the trust is separate. Your income tax on a trust accordingly. How else can I put this? With anybody, okay, let's just keep this, let's give the floor to you guys. What other form or what other way, if we say that a business trust is basically a legal entity that owns the business, how can you unpack that further? Let's see what you guys think. We know Jabulani spoke about trusts and money, but when we talk about a business trust and the
Um,
business trust being a legal entity.
okay, I'll try. I don't understand the question, but I'll try.
So
When you
basically
say
unpack when we say that we see it as a business entity, what do you think we're talking about? So this type of trust, a legal
uh,
entity that owns the business.
basically like you see clientele,
Okay.
right? It's a legal entity, right? I don't know. I don't know. This one's
It's fine.
confusing me.
I just wanted to see what you guys would come up. So basically, the trust can have are used to
Ma'am,
protect the assets of the beneficiary. So a trust protects assets of the beneficiary. That's all. Any form of asset.
ma'am,
Hello. Yes.
can I give it a try? I'm also quite not sure, just as Jablani,
Sure. No
but I
problem.
wanted to say I think it serves as a will of a company or group of companies.
Yes, I like your thinking.
Is that correct?
That's
How?
so
I'm so proud of
basically.
myself. I thought I was wrong.
So when we speak of a will, what is the purpose of a will?
It's to protect like the assets of a deceased, even when the person is no longer alive.
Yes,
What he or she left behind will
yes,
be protected or guided by the will. In this case, in business, which is a business trust, you can
yes,
die, but
100%.
all of your hard work will be protected legally.
Mm-mm. Yes, so that is the purpose of the trust. So when I say that the purpose of a trust is, think of it as a legal entity that the business owns. So exactly what you said in terms of putting it across as a will, that is the purpose of the trust. So remember, the trust
So
then
if you have
protects the
10 kids,
assets,
man,
protects the and yes,
they won't fight over your assets if you have a trust,
yes,
because it will
yes.
it will state who's responsible for
Mm,
what and what not. So they
mm,
cannot
mm,
actually fight over your assets if we are no longer available.
mm. And that's why a trust has no more than 20 trustees within that sector. Okay, so if we say an advantage of a business trust now would be to protect your assets, which goes back to what you've said in terms of it being a will, protects. Oh, perfect, Jabulani. So yes, so one of the advantages would be to protect the assets. So when we say protect the assets, the best way I can think of is that protect it against personal creditors. Remember, because the assets will belong to the trust and the trust alone. Okay, there are admin costs involved in a business trust. Obviously, it's there to serve the purpose of protection in terms of assets in the business, and there are taxes involved. Okay, it's also to dissolve. It's also cheaper and easier to dissolve a business trust than a company. Does everybody get it now?
Not really, ma'am, because I was
I
told
can go.
that if you have like a business trust, there's tax
Mm.
benefits, such as the owner of what's this thing, multi-choice Norman, Nerspas, Kusbeka. There's a year, I think it was 2019. So that guy, he did not pay tax at all on that year, ma'am. I don't know how, but he managed to do it.
Sure. Now, when we talk about trust taxes within the trust, why we say that advantage of it is that it's less complicated because it's one specific amount that's taxed. Remember, with partnerships and sole proprietors, as mentioned, that you tax according to the income that you get or based on your income. But with your business trust, your tax is straightforward because it's always a standard amount. And it's a standard amount of 45%. So when we talk about a business trust, this is part of a business format. So you don't have to open up a company or a sole proprietor. You can open up a business trust and run your business within this because of the advantages that it's got. It very much protects the assets of the business. So maybe someone might not want to open up a partnership because of the implications in terms of retrieving debt and stuff like that. Would open up a business trust because it's there to protect the assets of the business. It's a legal entity. So think of, as Sibonga Konke had said, in terms of it acting as a will. If you think of it like that and use that as an example and say a business trust serves the purpose or functions that a will would serve, that's exactly what it would serve in terms of business and protecting the company.
Hi, ma'am. Um,
Hello.
does that mean they also have to file tax reports as well? These business
Yes.
trusts. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
So whenever there's an income that's generated, in exchange of goods. So whenever remember we spoke about the concept of exchange, where you basically giving a good or service and receiving a payment from that. Whenever there's a transaction, there has to be some sort of record of it, which then again goes back to your tax. So it still serves its purpose in terms of operating as a business. Tax is then also involved. Anybody want to add? You guys are so good. The founder of the trust can be a trustee, so you might have more than one members within the trust, the business trust. And remember, there's a limit, I think, of 20 members within this trust, and you get your trust and your trustees. So the founder and a member would be a trustee. Okay, so the trustee should manage the assets of the trust with guidelines, obviously, that's been submitted by the High Court. Would anybody like to add or ask a question or state something about this? One of the things I'd like to state before we move on is that a trustee cannot be held personally liable for the debts of the trust. Okay, so it's the same as another company or other companies that have limited liability.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you said a business trust can own a group of companies, right?
Yes.
Which is the same as a holding company. So right now, I'm not sure. Like, can you please
So
differentiate between the
remember,
two?
it's not necessarily you're not owning a load of businesses. It's one specific business that you operate in within. So it's a form of business. How you've got your closed corporations, you've got your sole proprietor, you've got your companies, you've got a business trust. That's one of it.
So you can have a holding company under
You can.
your business trust.
You can.
What about an NPO, ma'am? Can you have it under your business trust?
So remember, that would form under a company because of this. Let me go back here. Let me just find this section. Does someone want to go next also after this? Yeah, so your NPOs would fall under
Private
I'm just
company or
trying to
public?
understand, what would you think an NPO would go in?
I think it's public company since it's what's this thing? It's for ish since for
Non-profit
social.
organization. Remember, it's a non-profit organization.
Yes, ma'am. Hence is why I say I
Yeah.
think it falls
Yeah.
under public companies since it's for the
Yes.
social or the community. It's actually giving back. So I
Yes.
don't think it can be private since it's not meant for individual profits.
Yes. Why do you doubt yourself?
Who, ma'am?
You make sense
Nah,
in terms of what you're saying and contributing.
I just want to understand something which I don't understand at the moment.
Okay, does anybody want to add in something to this as well? And let's see if we can unpack this further.
Ma'am, I just want to find out, business trust looks like it's a bit different from this all other companies. In terms of registration, I just want to understand, is it registered the same way with this other business where they have to register with CIPC?
So a trust can only be established if it's been approved by the Master of the High Court. So not every business trust will be approved. So in terms of the conditions of the Master of the High Court, that's when a trust can be approved. So it's not like we're going to register a business via company, and in terms of the Business Act, this is very much separate. So this is one of the only business formats that is approved in order for it to be established by the Master of the High Court.
So it doesn't
So,
affiliate under the CRPC.
Mm-mm.
so why does it say it's easy to establish if you need approval from someone?
Because of the way in which the business trust is built up. So once it's so it is, yes, it is easily to establish, but it can only be approved by the master of the High
Oh,
Court,
okay.
if I can say
I
that.
understand.
So you're not going to
Thank you
do it
very
your
much.
application and register your business via the other ways in which you would register, if you were perhaps partnering up with a friend and opening a business. You do it via the master of the High Court.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just trying to see where I can refer you guys to the textbook to read through further for an activity for this, for more understanding. So the worst case in scenario in terms of your question that you're going to be perhaps asked as a possible exam question, I would think is that they would give you, as I said, different case study, not even a case study, maybe even a case study, and explain the business and ask you what you think the business operates in terms of the business format. But what I'll do is I'll find a nice article for business trusts and unpack that, and then I'll post it for you guys on our WhatsApp group. Okay. Everybody's so quiet. Okay, now last, I think this is our last one. Yes, so this is the last of the business formats, and this is why you can see that I've split it up in terms of not covering everything in Learning Unit 1 because it is a lot to get through. So our cooperative societies, would anybody understand or think that they know an idea of what this entails or what it means or what it is? So if we think of societies, so basically, if we can think of a group of people coming together to volunteer to address a common need, that's what this business format is made up of or consists of. There are again advantages and disadvantages. An advantage of this type of form of business is that there's flexibility. Anybody else want to contribute? There's no restrictions to the maximum number of members, and these can be found within local companies for the purpose of creating and benefiting from economic and cultural aspects. Has anybody heard of this business format before?
Yes, ma'am. Stockfed.
Okay. Anybody else? A farming project? Okay. That's correct. So think of also, again, we think of agriculture and farming and giving back, and we think of communities. Okay, a disadvantage would be that members might, oh, sorry, I can't see this. Members need some understanding of financial management issues. So again, because of volunteership, there might not be that type of skill that's found within this business format. Um, Anything else that you could think of that could be a disadvantage? So when we say, so my next example would be that if we do not have a restriction on the maximum number of members, how do we then make decisions? Do you not think that decision making will then become difficult and there'd be fighting? Jabulani?
Yes, just to add on what you're saying, the members can like disagree uh, most of the times because they won't come to a certain agreement. So it would be tricky to deal with business because
Yes.
not everyone will have the same point of view.
Lack of diversity skills, yes, correct. That's exactly it. Whenever you have too many people getting involved in one thing, it always gets out of hand, and people don't agree. So that I can tell you is the main thing that I can take from an advantage would be that there's no limitation of the of members, but the disadvantage would be the decision making. Okay. Okay, let's quickly go through. I want to just do an activity with you guys before we go. So business location factors. Again, this is in your textbook as I still have last week's activity. Okay, perfect. You can email it to me if you'd like. My email address is on Learn. It was the very first post that I've put on Learn, so you're welcome to email it directly to me. I do also have, is that perhaps the activity that you spoke about, Ace Clothing? Yes, okay, perfect. So maybe we can do that because I've just got two answers to those that case study that we can go through. Okay, so there are some factors in terms of your business location factor. And one of them mainly is your access to customers. Remember, location plays an important part in terms of getting your product or service to your customers. Okay. If we think of a convenience store, remember, convenience store is always located at the right area, at the right position, so that customers have easy access to your service. Okay. In terms of raw materials, this is also a factor because let me open the floor. Jabulani, I'm going to ask you, why do you think, why could raw materials be considered as a business factor?
Because it's part of the factors of production, and most businesses deal with these raw materials, especially in the
Yes,
production sector.
correct. And it would be a factor because you need to be located to your resources, your raw materials. Okay, so when we talk about um, raw materials, just think about the location. Your business needs to be located close to your raw materials in order to produce your product or your product. Okay, I'm not going to go through all of them. When we talk about capital, we talk about, well, it is a factor because capital does not impact the location of the business. However, stakeholders and individuals providing the capital to start the business would need to obviously be at a specific location. So we're not talking about the actual money or the equipment to generate or to put this business together. We're just talking about the people that are contributing towards the capital, that they obviously need to be close. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop that for now. I just want to find this one thing. There is an activity that we spoke about. Have you guys gone through the activity in terms of learning unit 1? And it can be found on page 17 of your textbook.
Ma'am, is that activity 1.1.1?
1.9.
Oh,
So
I
we
I
had a
haven't
question
seen it.
last week. No problem at all. We can go through that now quickly. So what it is let me just share it, find it quickly. Stop sharing. Sharing. Okay, so don't worry, guys. I'll send you a case study and a video explaining that specific area of business trust, just to get you guys more at ease with that particular business format. If you don't mind, I'll post it in our WhatsApp group, or alternatively, I'll post it on Learn on Monday for you. Okay, I just want to see if you guys have done that activity. If it is in fact worth going through that. No, okay, not yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rather share this activity now. So we don't have to go through all of it. However, let's just go through this quickly just to see your understanding and recap from learning unit 1 and 2 regarding the above mentioned activity. It's not there's no specific due date. It was just an activity that I pointed out on our semester planner for you guys to work through, just to get better understanding of it. This was something I had uploaded on Learn as well under more resources, and it was just questions that were based on Learning Unit 1 and 2. Can everybody see that? Perfect, thank you. So we're not going to go through all of the questions. However, we can just touch base on a few and get some answers from you, because this is also just basically a recap of what we covered in Learning Unit 1 and 2. Okay, so the first question, let's look at this. The basic structure of a business plan should have the following subheadings excluded. So what of the following in terms of A to D is not part of a business plan? Would anybody like to give that a go? This is just revision on the work that we've covered. So if you look at a product or service plan, a marketing plan, a financial plan, D. Okay, Shanice, yes. Anybody else would like to add that? You go with C. Okay, now when we look at what a business plan entails, we do have a product plan that's included in that. There is a marketing plan. There is a financial plan. So D, yes, D would be your answer. So well done to those that have done it, got it right. Okay, I'm going to just skip through a few. Okay, no, yeah. Okay, question 4. Which of the following businesses listed below do not form part of the formal sector? This is an easy one. B, perfect. So remember your answer B there, a vendor selling goods at a traffic light will be part of an informal business. Okay, well done. Let's go back to page 1 and see. Sorry. Guys, this can be fun. Just out of curiosity, did you guys find this under more resources? Could someone like to just unmute? Yes, perfect. Okay, question 8. A what is something that through research or feedback from consumers can be developed into a new product or service that never existed before and which often supports an existing product or service offering? Okay, I've got someone that's saying B. You're more than welcome to unmute your mic, okay, and answer. Will your answer not be A? An idea is something that through research or feedback from consumers can be developed into a new product or service. Remember, that's the purpose of an entrepreneur, is they find an idea through research, they see a need, they see a gap. So your answer is A. Okay, and lastly, true or false, entrepreneurship can be defined as the process of creating something new through committing resources and enduring risks to achieve rewards. Two. I had a 2 there, false. Okay, so that is 2. So basically, that is the definition of entrepreneurship. Okay, guys, this is uploaded onto RC Learn as well. You'll find it. I did post it under announcements today, as well as under more resources. So what we'll do as we go through the learning units is I'll put quick 10 question activity for you guys, which also can help you through your studies. Again, it's not compulsory, but it is nice to go through through revision of the activities or the units that we've covered. Yes, Jabulani? Answer to question
Ma'am,
number
I'd
3.
like to ask, where is this activity? Because I haven't, this is the first time I'm seeing it. right now.
So
Like with
perfect, which is fun. So there was method behind what I've done. So for those that have done this activity and have looked under more resources, to additional notes and activities, I think it's under that specific category. The document is uploaded with the answers. And then I took the answers out and re-uploaded it onto Learn under announcements today. And I said this is an activity or revision towards learning unit 1 and 2. And the reason being is I just wanted to see if you guys are using the more resources stuff on Learn.
you sent it today.
I posted it this morning, but it has been up under more resources for a while now.
Oh, I'll check. Ish.
Perfect. So thank you, Nolwazi. We will be doing more of this. So as I said, yeah, the reason why you'll see, for those that have looked under more resources, will see that the answers are listed below each question. And also I've stated the page number that it can be found in your textbook. And this is, again, purely to see if you guys are using any activities just for your own revision and your own review on your side. And if not, then we can see why, because, yeah, you guys won't. If you didn't see that I've uploaded the answers and just saw the activity, then that's also good. But it's also just basically, my point was to encourage you guys to look under more resources, because what I am going to be doing is also just putting in additional resources, additional activities, things that you can use or click on, watch videos, just to get better understandings of stuff as well. So my purpose was to basically encourage you guys to look under more resources online. Would like to know the answer to question 3. Okay, let's go there. Okay, so question 3 is some of the characteristics of a mixed economy are, and it is number 1, the level of government intervention fluctuates. 2, the government chooses what to produce. 3, there is free competition in all sectors, and it is normally associated with the socialist form of government. Your answer is correct at C. So when we talk about the characteristics of a mixed economy, everything else except point 1 and 4 form part of the mixed economy, which goes back to learning unit 1 that we covered. And I do have a table on my my notes, which are again uploaded onto more resources for you guys to look at. Do you guys feel that this would be something that you'd want to do again next week, or not next week, the week after that? Okay, perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, perfect. Okay, no problem. I'll do that. What we are going to cover before we come to an end is that next week, please, if you guys could start working on your assignments. I know we haven't covered all of Learning Unit 3. However, I do want to have a discussion with you in terms of your assignment, and we can go through almost a support session, just because we've got about 3 weeks left for you guys to submit your assignment. If that's fine with you guys, and then we can carry on with the Learning Unit thereafter, just so you guys can start working on the assignment as well. Yes, Shanice?
Hi, evening. I just want to ask, I haven't started the us task yet, which I'm planning to. I just want to know, can I start and then save and continue on a later stage, or do I need to
It
complete it at one go? Because it
it should
doesn't
be.
really state that.
It doesn't give you an opportunity. So if you go the X, so once you've started and answered a few questions and you go X, doesn't it allow you to save your answers?
I don't know. I haven't opened it because I want to know if I'm able to go out and
You
save it
can,
and then
you can. It should allow you to save, yes.
okay. Okay, perfect.
Okay, and it also
Okay,
allows
thank
you to
you.
do multiple attempts. No problem. It allows you
Oh,
to do
okay.
multiple attempts as well. Okay.
Okay. I thought it's like a test basis, so yeah.